What's up, everybody? This is Karen and Ray, so as known as the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, the O.C.G, and hopefully I'm live with Mafia remake for PS5. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Okay. Okay.
Edmund Tools has all the stock and know-how required to tackle any job that could come up, both at home or in the yard. Whether replacing a bathroom set or building a carport, our staff knows exactly what's needed. And our price guarantee means you won't find what you need for cheaper anywhere locally. Edmund's Tools, for jobs big and small. This is WBDM, broadcasting live from Behringer.
Hey, hey, hey. Oh, sweet. Let's get in some of the collectibles in the open world. Yeah, it's Lincoln Clay's card from Mafia 3 from the 60s. Technically, it's not even supposed to be in this time period, but you get it if you have a Link 2K account and you played Mafia 1 and 3. Kind of was like a reward for saying, hey, thank you for supporting Mafia. They give you stuff from the other games in this game if you have played the other games. It wasn't. As I'm saying, and technically it's an anachronism. Well, 60s. And yeah. Oh man, it's a cool view of the city. Like I said, the car should not exist in this time period. It's just a thank you for playing the other Mafia games. Like to reward you, the same as you can get the car from Mafia 2, main car that the Vito uses. Even though that car was made in the 50s. But yeah. Oh, it's just one of those things. Sweet. I'm just collecting a bunch of collectibles that are in the open world. So take a little shortcut. Just a little shortcut. Oh, maybe. Supposed to be collectible by the lighthouse. Oh no, okay, it's at the end of the pier. Gotcha. Ah, there it is. Yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Just getting some of the collectibles out in the open world. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you. Okay, let me see.
Menthol. This is the sweetest smoke we've ever produced. Taste the freshness of Big Red White.
What do you mean? Are you talking about like the actual map? Like the world? Or do you mean like the map for the game? Yeah, a little bit. If you're talking about like the UI, then yeah. Okay, there should be a collectible right around here. Well, the original Mafia game is pretty fucking beloved by the group of people. And they had made this right after Mafia 3. And Mafia 3 got, like, roundly rebuked by critics and fans because it was a Mafia game that was trying to be a GTA game. Which is basically because it was the Mafia game that came out after GTA 5, and they said, okay, well, you gotta try to make Mafia more like GTA, and that's just, honestly, it's fucking stupid. It's not what Mafia is. Mafia is, like, almost the opposite of GTA, honestly. Whereas, you know, GTA is very silly and over the top. And more focused about the world exploration and shit. Mafia is more story-driven and very down-to-earth, very, grounded. And so they try to... okay, here we go. They tried to make Mafia into something it wasn't with 3. And it just, Mafia 3 is just, it makes me sad. Because, like, Mafia 3 could have been a good game, but you could tell where the studio ruined it. Because, like, most of the Mafia team, Mafia 1 and 2, left after Mafia 1 and 2. So they made a new studio, Hangar 13, that was supposed to be, like, they were literally made to make Mafia. And, the goal was to make, like, a classic Mafia game. No, it's decent. I'll explain here in a second what I mean and why. So they started out with the intention to make a classic Mafia game. Because the original team left. The people left. The guy who did Mafia 1 and 2, he actually went on to write and direct Kingdom Come Deliverance. His name is Daniel Favre. But, you know, excuse me. They made Mafia 3 originally like a Mafia game. It was really intended to just be a Mafia game. And it has a really good setting. Set in 1967 New Orleans. It has you know, good story. Gunplay is good. It uses, you know, similar gameplay to this. But the problem is late into development, the powers that be at Take-Two were just like, hey, we want you to make Mafia more like GTA because GTA is doing so well. And so they forced them to put in all these repetitive open world activities. Because, you know, usually Mafia is kind of light on the open world activities. Usually you can do some races, you can find some collectibles, but they're very story focused. Like, it's not like there's nothing to do in the open world, but it's definitely not the focus. See, I don't know what the fuck is happening. There we go. See, I keep having issues with this car where it just doesn't want to work. Super weird. I'll fuck with it later. So, yeah, anyway, what I was trying to say. So, like, late into development, they added all these repetitive open world activities into Mafia 3. Like, hold up this liquor store, take over this racket. And they're the most copy-pasted things, because that formula could work if you do it well. I know people hate that formula. They call it Ubisoft formula, Ubislop. Everybody wants to call everything slop these fucking days, but whatever. But it can work if you do it right. There's a reason why that formula was made, because, you know, like, enemy bases. People get onto games for having enemy bases across the map. They're like, oh, I have to take out 30 enemy bases across the map. Oh, that's repetitive. I've done that before. But the thing of the matter is, you have a game with an open world that you're exploring. People want to kill people out in the open world, to have combat and fighting, but they don't want to be constantly getting butt-fucked around every corner and just non-stop enemies. So you have enemy bases across the map. Like, there's a reason why they came up with a lot of these checklists. You know, because you need stuff to do out in the open world. And on top of which, you also don't want to be bombarded by enemies. So by having enemy bases you can take out, they give you freedom to engage with enemies while you're out in the open world, while also not being constantly swarmed, because you just have the open world map crawling with enemies, then it's going to get real old driving around if you get ambushed every 5 fucking seconds. So, like, Far Cry 2 had a really big problem with that. For example, before they did enemy bases in Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 2, you would get ambushed by enemies, but the problem was they were constantly respawning. So every single time you went through that region, you'd be attacked by those enemies in that place. It got really fucking old, which is why they, in Far Cry 3, like, okay, we'll make it so they're in set bases, and then once you take out the base, it removes the enemies from the area. So people, like, they make fun of the formula, but the formula was made for a fucking reason. But whatever. But you can do that if you do it right. But in Mafia, it's like, once you've taken out one enemy base, once you've held up one liquor store, you've seen them all. They are the definition of copy-paste. You know, like, a game, for example, that did it right is Ghost of Tsushima. When you play Ghost of Tsushima, every single enemy base is handcrafted and unique. You will never find the same enemy base twice in that game. So, I didn't really feel like it got that repetitive. Maybe if you just did, like, all the bases at once, it could get a little repetitive. But because you got a lot of rewards for doing the Mongol camps in that game, and each one was handcrafted, no two bases were alike, it didn't really feel repetitive. So there's good ways of doing it, and there's bad ways of doing it. Mafia 3 is a bad way, and I could live with that, except they make those side quests fucking mandatory. Now, the main story in Mafia 3 is great. It's very similar to the main story in the other games. Very story-driven, highly scripted missions. Shooting, mechanics, cool. In between those main missions, you were forced to do these fucking filler missions, and you have to do them to progress. So it's like, after every one big story mission, you've got to do 5 fucking filler missions that you don't want to do to continue the next main quest. And like I said, it doesn't make Mafia 3 a bad game, but it does take it down in quality from like what could be a 9 to like a 7, because the actual main story is phenomenal. The world is awesome. Like I said, it's New Orleans in the 60s. They have authentic 60s tracks, like, you know, Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones. And all along the Watchtower, music that's usually really expensive, so you don't see it licensed in games like that. And like I said, the main story is phenomenal. It's up to the tier, but then, every fucking time, after you do a main story, oh, hey, now here, do some bullshit you don't want to do for like an hour. And people fucking hated it, as you might guess, because the people that wanted to play GTA are just going to play GTA. Oh, there it is. And the people that liked Mafia didn't like them trying to make it like another series, and rebuked it. So Mafia 3, they had it in their head. Don't ask me why. But Take-Two had it in their head that Mafia 3 was going to do GTA numbers. And why they would ever think that, it was just, well, it's proof of why corporations fucking suck. So, it was a devastating flop. It sold like 3 million copies, and that's not terrible. Those are not terrible numbers. But remember, they were expecting this game to do fucking GTA numbers, so that is terrible for fucking, like, GTA, what they were thinking. And they almost canceled the series. They were actually talking about, like, putting the series on ice, because they, obviously the big corporate, you know, executives couldn't understand they were the ones that made it bad by trying to make it a type of game that it fucking wasn't. That Mafia is Mafia, it's not supposed to be GTA. That was the problem, not that people weren't interested in Mafia. They weren't interested in Mafia fucking masquerading as GTA. And they, Hangar 13 managed to convince them somehow to do a remake of this game, of the first game, because it had been 2002, it had been over 15 years. And so the goal was to win people over by making a classic Mafia game. So the goal was to remake it, make the gunplay up to standards, improve the vehicle handling, all that stuff, but to keep the core of the gameplay very, very close to the classic Mafia. Because they were trying to prove to them that people that they could make a classic Mafia game. After Mafia 3 really left a bad taste in the mouth of people. And they did. But they also made this game, from what I understand, this remake was made on more of a modest budget. This remake actually was only $40 when it came out. And so, because it was only $40, it was considered more of a budget title. I mean, obviously, this is not like an indie game, but it's not, nearly as high budget as Mafia 3 was. So, I think part of the reason why the map is kind of sparse and all that stuff is because, one, they wanted to keep it real close to the original Mafia. So, the whole point is showing that they could make Mafia games that people wanted to play. And two, that they made this game on a budget compared to Mafia 3. This is more like a AA game. Because like I said, in 2020, this was only $40, and then you could get Mafia 2 and 3 together for $60, which wasn't bad. And then they took it a step further and okay, we remade Mafia 1 and we did a good job because this remake is awesome. Pretty much, you're always going to have people who say they prefer the original, but 99% of people will agree that this remake is the definitive way to play this game. Because it keeps the story intact, keeps the vibe intact, but modernizes the gameplay. The original Mafia has not aged well. There's supposed to be a collectible right here. I'm not understanding where the fuck it is. The original Mafia has not aged very well. It was one of the first games that tried to be a third-person shooter. And, it had free aim compared to, GTA, which is lock-on targeting. And, for 2002, it was really progressive. But, if you go back to Mafia 2, the shooting is fucking awful now. You can look up gameplay snippets. It's not good. And it's they tried to go have sim driving in an open world. It feels like you're driving a fucking boat. They tried to have more immersive cops. But it literally was cops that would pull you over for fucking speeding. They tried to be historically accurate to the extreme, and that was to the speed of the cars. So that meant that the average car in the first game topped out at 30 miles an hour, which meant that driving around was painfully fucking slow. And then once again, if you tried to go to 30 miles an hour, the cops would be on your ass. So you couldn't even go at full speed. Which is where you can take the realism too far, by the way. And there were stealth missions that were fucking terrible because stealth was terrible. There was only a crouch, no cover, and the missions were infamous back in the day. Because they would be, if you got spotted, game over. But the stealth was fucking terrible, and it was mandatory stealth. And so the goal was to, fix that, bring the shooting up to modern standards, bring the driving, and they succeeded. So, and like I said, I almost wish that they didn't call this Mafia Definitive Edition, because when you hear Definitive Edition, you're thinking oh my god, this is like a remaster, and that is not the case. This is literally completely rebuilding the game from the ground up in a new engine. There's no remaining code. And then on top of that, it's not even just they rebuilt the game with better graphics. They literally rewrote the story. They recasted the voice roles. They redid the music. They altered missions. They moved missions around. They added stuff. They changed stuff. This is a reimagining. This is what they did for Resident Evil, but for Mafia. And so, calling it Definitive Edition really kind of sells short the effort that they put in this. And, it also is confusing, because around the same time, they did Mafia 2 Definitive Edition, and that is just a remaster. It's just Mafia 2 with some slightly better textures, some better lighting, and literally just a little bit of polish on a game that's like 15 years old. And they are both the name. So you literally, at the same time that they released like this total reimagining of Mafia that, you know, rebuilt from scratch, they released just a fucking remaster, and they called them the same thing. When one is like 1,000 times more effort. You know what I mean? Like, when you hear Definitive Edition, you're thinking like, oh, this is like a remaster, or it's the DLC. Like, there's literally been game bundles that's just a game with the DLC that's Definitive Edition. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. There you go. They remastered Tomb Raider and added in the DLC. That's a remaster. So, like, I think the name was kind of shitty, and they needed to say remake or whatever, because Definitive Edition kind of sells short, gives the wrong expectations. When you hear that, you're thinking, you know, oh, is this just like they slightly improved the graphics instead of, you know, like a total fucking rebuild of a 2002 game? But yeah. Here we go. So, and then they, you know, they're like, okay, we remade Mafia 1, and we did a good job. Now let's make our own Mafia game that's classic. And that's where the old country comes in. Oh, wait a minute. And now, I've talked about this before. There's really only two ways that the Mafia series is going to go from here. I'll be interested to see which of the two outcomes they pick. Because previously, while they were intending Mafia 3 to be the start of like a whole new series in the franchise, and they intended to come out with multiple games in quick succession, because there was like an 8-year gap between Mafia 1 and 2. Mafia 2 actually had a troubled development cycle, even though it's a great game. Most people say Mafia 2 is the best. But, it took like 8 years. Like, well, we don't want to take that long. So they were planning on, like, they were already working on Mafia 4 while they were working on Mafia 3, because they expected, like, Mafia 3 to do GTA numbers. And the whole plan for Mafia 4 was to be set in Las Vegas during the 70s. Because if you know anything, Vegas was literally made by the Italian mob. They literally pretty much created Vegas. It was a fucking small town in the desert. They're the ones who brought the millions and millions and millions of dollars to create the casinos and did that. Like, literally all of Vegas was funded by the mob. Now, they don't really have much of a presence there, but you literally would not have Las Vegas without the mob. They funded the whole fucking thing because they're like, hey, out in the desert, we're not going to have all these regulations and rules. We can do whatever the fuck we want. So, you know, they've been doing a progressive decade in each subsequent Mafia game, and it was, you know, some of the biggest Italian mobsters ever were in Vegas in the 70s. They even did a movie about it that's really good if you've never seen it, called Casino. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's got Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, and it's literally about the founding, the rise and fall of Vegas in the Italian mob. Fantastic movie. Okay, there should be a fox statue here. There you are. And that sounds really good. So, part of Mafia the Old Country did really well. We don't know the exact numbers, I've mentioned this before, but Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two, said that it greatly exceeded their expectations. Obviously, you know, it didn't do GTA numbers. Mafia the Old Country, like this game, was made on a smaller budget. It was only $50. So it was more of a double-A game. But it's apparently, according to him, it exceeded expectations. And then Hangar 13 said the success of Mafia 13, or not Mafia 13, they said the success of the Old Country has allowed us to reconfirm our commitment to making single-player, story-driven games, which is corporate speak for this game did really well, so we get to keep making games like this. Whereas if that game hadn't done well, so we know there's more Mafia, but they're either going to do Mafia 4, and, you know, like the way they originally wanted to do it without bullshit, because They moved away from Mafia 4. They even showed concept art of them in Vegas. Like, it's been totally confirmed. They're either going to do Mafia 4 finally, or they're going to do a remake of Mafia 2. Because people have been asking for that for years, and the old country heavily ties into Mafia 2. And strongly references it many times. And you actually see the city of Mafia 2 at the end of the old country. So, like, there's many characters from Mafia 2 in that. Like, the town that you explore Mafia, the old country, is called San Celeste. That is the town that you start playing in the game in Mafia 2. Mafia 2 starts with you in an operation in World War II in that town. So, the main town in the old country was literally already shown in Mafia 2. Many characters in the old country are from Mafia 2, so it seems like they're strongly trying to set up like a potential remake of Mafia 2. So, they are either going to remake Mafia 2, or they're going to do Mafia 4. And honestly, I'm happy either way. So I love this series, and obviously, you've seen how good this remake is. So if the same people do a remake of Mafia 2 like this, that would be fucking great. Especially because, you know, Mafia 2 is set in the 40s and the 50s. And that's why it's most people's favorite. Because it's like those prime American years. You play a mission near the end of World War II, and then it's basically you coming home from World War II, and it's winter of 1945. So you're like a war veteran coming home, you're trying to find work. They show like the veterans being out of work. And then you go to prison, and it jumps ahead to like 1951, and the second half of the game is summer. And all the cars change, and you're all of a sudden going from driving these slow cars to hot rods. And Mafia 2 is the only game that, like I said, has like 2 major decades, and it's like the whole game world shifts when you hit the second half. All the radio stations change, for example, and play different music. Almost all the cars change. Obviously, you're going from summer to winter, winter to summer. So the vibes change, the clothes change. And that's why people love it, because, you know, like, people think of, like, the mob, think of those classic, like, 50s shit. You're driving a Cadillac around. So people are really hoping that they would give Mafia 2 the treatment that they did for this game, because, well, this game is awesome. This is a great remake. And I agree. It's clear they know how to remake a Mafia game, so I'm sure they would do it. And for most people, Mafia 2 is their favorite game in the series. So that's the one they want remade the most. And, well, Mafia 2 is 2010. So, yeah, it's now, you know, going on 20 years old. So it's not like it's, you know, it's due for it. But then also, I'm not gonna lie, the thought of playing a fucking Mafia game in the 70s in Las Vegas sounds kind of awesome. I like Las Vegas as a setting. I think it's really weird that Las Vegas is so popular and literally came from crime. Like I said, literally the origins, the entire origin of Las Vegas is from crime syndicates. It's seemingly perfectly made for a game setting, and yet, like, the only game I can think of that's set in Las Vegas is San Andreas. And San Andreas is 22 years old. So, it's kind of weird how, like, popular Vegas is in real life, how many movies have had Vegas, but how few games have had Vegas, when you think, like, a GTA-style game in Vegas would literally just be, like, a no-brainer. So, playing a game set in Las Vegas during, like, the height of the mob in Vegas, that just sounds like a good idea. And they always use historically accurate music, so, you know, you get to drive around listening to fucking Bee Gees and disco, because it's the 70s. And old classic rock, man. Like a classic AC/DC. The soundtrack potential, like I said, like for Mafia 3, they used all kinds of authentic 60s tracks. So jamming out like the 70s has fucking bangers. Like, imagine a game like this, dude, but in Vegas. It sounds fucking awesome. And like I said, it was like a golden age for the mob, because for a long time in Vegas they had no rules. Obviously, eventually they cracked down and it ended. But there's a long time when like the mob was just going crazy. They had a whole civil war with the mob over there. Guys, they had a whole gang called the Hole in the Wall Gang, because they would literally drill a hole in the fucking wall of the banks in the middle of the night and take a chunk of the wall out. And they had never seen robbers like that. That was a real thing. They were called the Hole in the Wall Gang. And what I'm saying is these were brick buildings. So, like, now imagine a group of, like, heist people rolling up and not just breaking into the bank, taking the side of the building with them. Nobody had ever seen that shit before. And they did it in the dead of night without anybody seeing them. Do you know how hard it is to take off, like, the side of a building? And nobody see you? People are like, what the fuck? And this is on the Vegas Strip. Like, they were fucking artists, man. They were master role playing, and they did it like 20, 30 times. The FBI, they were like on the FBI's most wanted list. They couldn't catch them doing it. Like, you have a civil war, you have like crazy heists, you have like them like thousands of people they believe are buried in the fucking Vegas desert. Like, there's a lot of shit for them to fuck around with in Vegas. But like I said, Mafia 2 is the fan favorite. You got World War II, 50s America. You have the massive change in the setting halfway through the game. So either way, I'd be happy. If they remade Mafia 2 or if they did Mafia 4, I'd play it. I'll be interested to see which one they choose. Or honestly, they could do both. They're a big studio, so it's entirely possible they're working on both in tandem right now. Which also wouldn't surprise me. Here we go. Oh yeah, also, there's a way to get the fastest car in this. I haven't unlocked it yet. Let me check it out. There's, I forget how to unlock it. Yeah, there's actually a car in this game that goes 175 miles an hour. It's a race car prototype called the Flame Spear. I forgot about that. It's fucking crazy, man. To have a car in the 1930s because it's like a Formula One car. Okay, there are certain missions. Okay, I can actually unlock the fast cars now. Okay. Well, let me do that then. First, let me reload my checkpoint. Yeah, this car turns really wide. But it's good old-fashioned American muscle. This is the main car that you drive in Mafia 3. And you unlock it in this game by having a linked account that's played both games, which is cool. Shit. It's just they turn so wide. Yeah, well, it's based off a 1960s Camaro. Dodge Charger. It's based off a classic American muscle. Back when America made real fucking cars. It really, honestly, we're talking about being black-pilled. It really depresses me to see how great American shit used to be and how we just gave up, man. Like, honestly, I think fucking Ronald Reagan should be considered to be one of the worst presidents fucking ever. Which is a hot take. I know people like Reagan, but, like, literally, him allowing us to put our businesses in other countries just fucking destroyed this country. Because it led to all these fucking companies outsourcing to China and Japan, and then we weren't making the fucking shit here anymore. We were known for making incredibly good automobiles. Incredibly good, like, fucking virtually everything. American craftsmanship was fucking real. And then, you know, trickle-down economics came about, and honestly fucked this country up. It didn't work. All it did was trickle money up to the rich. And, you know, we took all of our goods and we exported them to China, Japan, Philippines. And it cost us American jobs, which was supposed to be the most important thing. And then these products that were made in China and Japan were cheap as shit. So it didn't just affect America, by the way. It affected the rest of the world because we would make all these high-quality American products. And then we would ship them to the rest of the world. So we literally... Oh my god, we literally... now flooded the world with the rest of these shitty products. And now everything's made in China and it doesn't last for fucking shit. And, you know, like I said, we weren't the ones who made the cars. Germans came up with the idea of cars, but we owned the fucking automotive industry. We owned the automotive industry. We made the best fucking cars in the world. Detroit used to be considered the automotive capital of the world. And look what happened to Detroit now. It's a fucking shithole. It never recovered from losing the cars.
Tommy, just a guy.
You doing okay, Lucas?
Oh, I'm good. Business is booming, and I found a way to pay you back for that score at the track. You like fast cars, right?
Who doesn't?
I got guys all over town. They tell me what they seen driving where and where they might be headed. All the latest models, all the best cars. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It went from one of the richest cities in the world to a fucking shithole
whatever I hear,
because they took away their industry. The whole city was based around that. Then once you export all the cars, they had nothing to offer.
I'd give to you.
What's the catch?
And no catch. You just gotta find them. All the details are on the wall.
And that's what I mean. And we just, everything is so cheap now and fucked up. And like I said, we used to make so many cool things, dude. Okay. These are all missions to get fast cars. Thankfully, I know where this one is. Oh. Yeah, I think it's like right here. Yeah, this is a building under construction. I remember this building. And there's supposed to be a garage around there, and it has the fastest vehicle in the game, which is just good to have. Yeah, I can see it. Okay. See, it's like the car just kind of slides. Yeah, it's this building right here. Okay, it's supposed to be a garage on the south end of this building under construction.
Pardon me.
Oh, hell yeah. I love it when my cars are dick-shaped. Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, that is so fast. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm not, God, I'm not even going like nearly the top speed, dude. I need like a long road. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Might as well get some of these other cars. Oh man, that car is really cool too. Oh, let me do this one next. Okay, and this one's in hotel. Southeast of the dam. Go on. I think it's gotta be right there then the southeast, yeah. And going out of the country, it'll give me space to really let this bad boy stretch. Shit. It's funny too, because the speedometer only goes up to 120. So like I can't even tell how fast I am after a certain point. Shit. Oh, come on. God damn it. Fuck me. And I just loaded the last checkpoint. I don't even think AAA exists right now for a... free roam. That's the only way to get these cars is in free roam mode. Yeah. No. Oh, the hotel's supposed to be around here somewhere. That's the base of the dam. Yeah, this thing is not that great off roads. Not that you'd expect it to be. I think I hit a rock. So yeah, this thing fucking spins out so hard. This may be the fastest this may be the fastest car in the game, but it's nowhere near the best handling. Not at all. Yeah, pretty much. And cars from the 30s are known for having really wide fucking turns. Okay, there's supposed to be a car here. Oh, well, I guess the game willed me. There's a car that's been in almost every Mafia game. It's in the old country as well. And once again, it's based off a real old-timey car prototype. It's not as fast, but it has better turning. So... let me see. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the main game. I'm about to do one of the bigger missions in the game. We're gonna assassinate a politician, baby. Yeah, see, this tops out at 138 miles. Yeah. Good luck catching me, cops.
That man is Hank Turnbull. Mr. Turnbull stepped away from political life. Sounds like we lost the guy in Chinatown. Keep looking. The situation our state finds itself in has compelled him to step into the breach once more.
Okay, there's collectibles in this mission. Hold on. I have to assassinate this politician, but the only place with a clear shot is through an old abandoned prison.
Hey, fella, come over. You with Tony?
Yeah.
Your friend said you wanted the guard tower. Paid me to mark the way with this sign. Folks go through the sewer. Only way in. Then just keep heading up.
Hey, you down there! We ain't going nowhere.
Turn around!
Someone's coming!
No.
Well, you ain't one of us. You're not welcome here. I'm warning you, mister!
Are you? Are you warning me?
Why can't you people just leave us be?
Dude, I'm not even fucking with you, man.
This is our home. Why can't you people understand that?
Is that you, cop? You're locked up tight, not getting in! Someone's coming through!
Lost. You, need a little help?
You know the guy tower.
It's, up through the main cell block. Gate's locked most of the time. Keep the feds out.
Thanks.
Be careful in here, stranger. We're protective of our own.
David, where are you?
Okay, it's supposed to be.
That guy back in here.
Or no.
We're gonna break in.
Now!
All these people just rushing a guy with a gun. Not the smartest tool in the shed. Let's bomb rush him. Oh, he can't kill us all. Here we go. Okay, I think there's another collectible.
I thought there'd be more of you to evict us.
Yeah, I'm not trying to evict anyone, bro.
Am I close to the guard tower?
Real close. Elevator's out, but you can take the stairs.
Okay, and then... Should be a collectible down the stairs. Okay. That's everything for right now. Here's watching. I appreciate you. Should I comment, subscribe? Well, shit. But
How long have I been out?
okay, there should be one more collectible in this mission. Okay, well, that's creepy. Light coming down from the ceiling onto a teddy bear and an electric chair. Alright. Well, I know when to get the fuck out of somewhere.
The shot came from up here! Chief said he was declared dead at the scene.
Okay, that's everything for this mission.
you see?
The police! It's the police!
We'll only come back, you bastards!
Oh shit. Oh my god, fuck, I didn't see that guy. Fuck.
You can't escape! Every cop in the city is outside! Birdbowl was a good man! Hear that? A good man! Get an angle on him! There he is!
There's some guy down here causing trouble. Move it out! With them! Get to his side!
Together!
Man down! It's all over me! Wow. I need some help! Gotcha! Maybe he's long gone. Troy there.
Together!
Fighting!
Shit.
Alright, let's check it out. Don't point that thing at me!
All cars, all officers, please converge. Completed. Roadblock is in position. Can confirm. Into the car. Before this goes any further. Officers on Central Island. Suspect has been lost. Keep patrolling.
God damn, I have max 1 level. Give me a fucking break.
Easy on. Go back to patrol. Get it next time.
It just takes time to get used to how wide these vehicles turn.
Hey, you're gonna kill someone!
Hi, honey, I'm home. I had a good day at work. I killed a senator.
Did you hear about this Turnbull?
Heard he was crooked as the day is long.
It says in the paper he's going to be remembered for fighting to pass the 19th Amendment. Put his whole career on the line for it.
Which one was that again?
Women's suffrage, you idiot. He gave me the right to vote, Tom. Gave it to his wife and 6 daughters, too. Guess nobody's just one thing, are they?
Guess not. I gotta go to work.
Tom, don't do nothing you don't want to be remembered for, you hear me?
Probably too late for that.
Yeah, he was corrupt as shit, but he also helped women get the right to vote, which is a thing that they talk about extensively in Mafia, that is shades of gray. People do great good and great evil.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's great, boss.
And this is just a taste. I got a line on a whole
This
ship
is when
of-
things start to get really bad. And where Don Salieri, he was embroiled for the first part of the game. The Don is doing very poorly. He's in a losing civil war with the other Don, Morello, and but he has a good heart. He's talked about think with your head. Don't get angry. We don't sell dope. And then, you have the whole escalation of the war with the other Don, and then finally you kill the other Don. You think, oh, hey, we won the Civil War, things are going to go good. But once Salieri takes over the city and has, total control, it kind of goes to his head, and he kind of becomes an asshole. And, this is, the main thing. You go to all this trouble to get these cigars, and it turns out that it's fucking heroin. And it's a big moment in the story where it's kind of where Tommy decides to kind of break away from the Don and not listen to him as much. Because, one, he always said, no dope, no dope, no dope. We do liquor, we don't do heroin. And then he's doing heroin. And second of all, he lied to them and was going to cut them out and not give them profits. So they get into, this big shootout over these cigars and nearly die. And he finds out that not only was he lying about heroin, but he was millions of dollars worth of heroin, and he wasn't going to cut them in. And that's a big rule in the mob in this game. You cut in your underlings. If you send somebody to go get you money, they all get a cut. So, normally, you'd have, a shipment of booze, hey, everybody gets cut in. Especially the guys who went and did it. This is wow, he sent us out here didn't tell us what we were really going into. We were just getting cigars. And then he didn't even give us a cut. He was going to pay us nothing. And so they decide to rob a bank. Paulie has an opportunity to rob a bank. And there's millions of dollars. And this is in the 30s. That's an ungodly amount of money. But the Don doesn't want them to do it. He doesn't want anybody to do the bank. He wouldn't approve because he doesn't want to rock the boat. And Paulie before had mentioned it to Tommy because, like I said, millions. And he had an in at the bank nobody else knew about. And Tommy at first told him, no, we can't do that. The Don wouldn't let us do it. We got to listen to the Don. We can't do anything the Don didn't approve of. But after they go and get these cigars and find out that it was heroin and that he wasn't going to cut them in, that they almost sent them to die for nothing, he said, fuck it, let's do the bank job. And things kind of go tits up in the bank job, and it ultimately winds up with the Don trying to kill Tommy. This is like the pivotal moment of the plot where things start to get really bad.
You want us to boost cigars?
Something wrong with that? Customers in our nightclubs are paid through the nose for quality cigars.
Still, it seems, I don't know, small time.
I just knew you were a smart one, Tom. Can't put nothing past you. Small time is exactly right. That's how it's supposed to look anyhow. The cigars are just a cover for a shipment of hot ice. The smuggled diamonds have been hidden in some of the boxes. The feds haven't found them yet.
We're stealing diamonds from the feds?
Don't worry about it. I've already discussed all the details with Sam here. He'll fill you in. Now, I got a meeting with the mayor at his favorite gentleman's club. Work out the details together. But I want those cigars back here before anyone catches on to the real loop. You got it?
Sure, boss.
And like I said, this game is all about contradictions. And how sometimes it's the good things you do that come to bite you in the ass. There's a prostitute that Tommy was supposed to kill, and he didn't. Because it was an innocent mistake she made to Gab on one of the members. She was fucking Sam. And he had pillow talk with her. And she then talked to another girl about it, and they reported to Morello. So Morello thought, Salieri thought that that girl was narking on them. When it wasn't. She was just idle gossip, and it got into the wrong ears. But it wasn't on purpose. And so Sam is really, really, into the chick, the prostitute. And so he asked Tommy not to kill her. And Tommy goes against the Don's order and gives her money and tells her to go away. And then later on, Frank is like the Don's consigliere, right-hand man. And he's super loyal. He's known Salieri for like 30, 40 years. And he turns on the Don because the Morello has his family, his wife and daughter. And he has all the books. He's the money man in the operation. So he sends Tommy after Frank. And Frank decides to let him go with his family. Because he didn't willingly rat on the gang. He had his family. And Tommy has his own wife and his own daughter. And knows he wouldn't like it if somebody held his wife hostage. And so, after they do the bank heist, Sam told them don't do the bank heist. But they do it anyway, and Sam uses that as leverage. He tells Salieri about the girl that he let go, which is funny because Tommy only let the girl go because Sam wanted him to, but he left that out part. He tells him how he let Frank go, and the bank heist is the last straw. So he's like, oh, he didn't kill this chick I wanted him to kill. He didn't kill this guy who had books of money making. And then he did a job without me, and that's when he tries to kill Tommy, and Tommy has no choice but to leave the mob.
Great. And don't drink all the good stuff while I'm gone.
You know about this?
Boss and I worked it out last night. We got a plan. Now, I'm not saying it's a good plan, but it won't get us killed.
And it's also the part where Sam kind of chooses the loyalty to the Mafia over his friends. And it's kind of heartbreaking because Sam, you know, and them were friends since the beginning. And Sam sees it as a way to get ahead, whereas Tommy preferred loyalty to his friends. And like I said, it's all kinds of shades of gray. This game's got a lot of shit to say. Where, like I said, you know, Tommy is capable of doing bad things, killing people, but he also showed kindness when other people wouldn't. He was friends with Ralphie, the garage guy. He has a stutter. Everyone made fun of him for it. Tommy's the only one that saw him like a real person and never judged him for a stutter. Tommy has a loving wife and daughter. He never had affairs. A lot of these mobsters had, you know, they called them Gumars. Or Kumars, however you say it. It's Italian, I apologize. But literally, they had a word for mistresses because almost every mob guy had multiple mistresses. Tommy literally never cheats on his wife ever. He's like literally in love, madly dedicated to his wife. So you see, oh, he's like, he can be a dick and kill people, and then he's also incredibly loyal to his friends. He's nice to the handicapped, and he truly a good husband and a loving father. And that's like the whole point of Mafia. And she even says that in that one mission you just saw. She's like, man, nobody's just one thing, are they? Somebody can be good and bad in equal measures. That it's not like it's shades of gray in this game series. Like I said, this game has fucking phenomenal writing. Which hopefully you can see now kind of why I like Mafia so much. Pretty much the entire Mafia series has writing that's this good. Even Mafia 3. Like I said, the main story in Mafia 3 is fantastic. It's just all the filler between missions they make you do that kind of kills that game that they mandated from corporate. But the actual like main story and characters in Mafia 3 are awesome. You're like, I would see more of Old Country before you make that decision, but that's fair. You didn't really see Mafia, the Old Country, when it got down to like the nitty-gritty brass tacks. You saw the beginning of the Old Country. It gets a lot more intense. Later on, it divulges into a huge civil war in the Old Country. And, like, shit gets fucking real. It just takes a little while to get going in the Old Country because you're not from the mob. The whole point is you're an outsider. And Enzo's such a tragic guy, man. He's the hardest, most put upon Mafia protagonist and most innocent. You know, a lot of Mafia protagonists, they kind of join the mob, and they have a life of crime because they were tired of a boring life. You know what I mean? They didn't want to be a nobody. Like Tommy says that he couldn't leave the Mafia because he didn't want to be a nobody. But Enzo is different, dude. He grew up in a fucking mine, being a slave, and the mob saved him and gave him the first taste of being a real human being. So, you know, it wasn't like other people where it's like greed and power that they wanted. For Enzo, it's just he wanted a fucking home and a family and literally spent the first 12 years, like most of his adult life in a fucking pitch black mine working, literally being a fucking slave. So you can understand why when he gets taken out by the Mafia and the Mafia helps him, that he's so loyal to the Mafia because it's the only time he's ever felt like he belonged. But then, you know, dude, there's some really good shit in the Old Country, man. You just gotta get down. There's this whole mission where, like, okay, so in the Old Country, you actually meet his daddy, Sam's daddy. His name is Samuel Traponi. You meet Luca Traponi. He's the guy that you saw teach you the knife fight. And he's literally meant to be a contrast between his son, because his son ultimately chooses the Mafia over his friends, and he sells Tommy out. Luca is super loyal. And for, like, the first 75% of the game, Luca is, like, one of the most honest, loyal people in the game. And he winds up getting shot and killed at, like, the beginning of the third act. And that is when shit gets really bad. Because the Mafia, they're, like, trying to broker a truce. and then the Mafia decides to ambush them. And that's when it goes into full fucking all-out war. And they have this really, really fucking awesome mission where you have to sneak into the capital city of Sicily, Palermo, and you have to sneak in through the Greek crypts. These are like old Greek aqueduct. And you're sitting there as a lantern with a priest who used to be part of the mob in the fucking Greek catacombs. So you're making your way through the Greek catacombs, you're taking out people in the fucking tunnels. Then you go up top into this big opera house, and you have to make your way through the opera house, sneaking behind the stage with this big elaborate play to get to the guy who betrayed you, dude. And it's one of my favorite scenes in any Mafia game. He fucking flicks out his knife and he puts it in the guy's throat, and Enzo says, "Your greed cost a good man his life." Because literally the guy, their friend, betrayed them for money. He says, "Luca was a good man. People will mourn from him. When you're gone, who the fuck will grieve for you?" And slits his fucking throat and kicks him over the balcony into the fucking opera play, man. I'm just sitting like, oh shit! And then you get into like a giant shootout where the whole opera goes on fire, man, and you're literally, it has all these moving parts, so you're literally hiding behind fucking animatronics. Like moving stage plates going across the fucking opera as it's going up in flames before you get into a knife fight with the leader of the other Mafia. And like straight up, one of the best missions in any fucking Mafia game is that mission, and it's in the old country, dude. And literally, like I said, it's, you know, as the kids say, maximum aura farming. Who the fuck will grieve for you? And like I said, this guy killed like the best, most honorable character in the Mafia. So when you finally get to watch him kill him and kick him off the fucking stage, it's pretty great. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, so you didn't really get to see that. And like the whole last act of Mafia the Old Country is like that, dude. The final mission, the fucking volcano erupts. So you're fighting through the mine that you started the game while the fucking volcano is spewing lava in the distance, dude. Like, you know, you saw the beginning of the Old Country, and yeah, it's kind of slow, dude, but when you get to the home stretch in the Old Country, the last act gets fucking crazy. That was the mob mission. Is just how the opera house, that's how the mission starts. The third act starts. There's a bunch of missions that are just like that, man. Literally fucking volcano going off in the background like fucking Pompeii. And that's what I'm saying. You're not really seeing, you didn't really get to see the shit in the Old Country where it got fucking crazy. And you're like driving cars and fucking full-on shootouts, man. So that's, I'm just saying, like, if you ultimately don't like the Old Country or whatever, I'm just saying, like, the stuff you saw early on in the game was before shit gets real. So it's not indicative of the whole game. It has a slow start, but it does not stay that way. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you didn't see, like, the really kick-ass parts of the Old Country. That's like, wow. And the ending to the Old Country actually made me cry. And made me really emotional. It's a really fucked up ending. And I'm not going to spoil it. But, like, the ending to the Old Country is really fucking dark. And like I said, I just really like the fact that they went to Sicily and the old mob, dude. You know how many mob games they've had, and they've never focused on, like, the start of the mob? Actually getting to see Sicily in a game, I think it's the only game I've ever played that's set in Sicily, dude. And it's like, there's so many games, so many movies with the mob, and how many ever actually show, like, the mob in Sicily, where they started. So for me, it was just a really refreshing setting. And Enzo is a really likable character. Like I said, he just wants a family. You see, he has, like, the roughest fucking life of any mobster. And so, like, it really fucks him up because he's in love with the Don's daughter. And he really wants to be with the Don's daughter. And, like, Enzo is just a good person. So he's not, like, trying to fuck the Don's daughter for power. He's not trying to get a favor out of her. He's not even, like, trying to, like, be with her because he's, like, attracted to her. He loves her. And his plan is to get high enough in the organization that he can tell the Don and then gain his approval. So, like, even when it comes to, like, being involved with the Don's daughter, he wasn't doing it in, like, a dirty way. It's the only family he knows. And then you literally see the family fucking explode and go haywire. And it's really compelling. Because you see him being torn between family, and he gets Isabella pregnant. And then it's like, oh shit, we can't hide a relationship anymore. They're gonna see that you're pregnant soon. Like, fuck! And now she's like, I want to leave. And we have a baby. And it's like, well, I'm in this family, but now we have a family with you. I really like The Old Country. I really do. And the ending really sits with you. And it's an ending that hits you in the feels and makes you think. And it's not the ending you think it will. It actually shocked me when I first played it. It does some pretty ballsy shit.
Probably.
So what, then we got a guy on the inside or something?
No. We gotta do this on our own. And it'll be rough. Cigars are packed in crates at the harbor.
Shit. The place would be crawling with security.
Yeah. Brute force won't work. Gotta play this one cool. So we're gonna steal a customs truck. Slip right in.
Christ. And kill the poor bastard driver.
No. We'll just scare him a bit. All we need is his paperwork.
Right. We don't need the hassle of dumping a body. Come on. See if we can get eyes on a customs truck down by the docks.
You alright, Tom?
Yeah. Just trying to figure out the angle is up.
See, Tommy.
Sure to figure. Boss has a job needs doing, we're doing it.
Just seems like a lot to put on the line. Even for some diamonds. If the feds pinch us, we could do serious time.
Then let's make sure we don't get caught. Right?
And you can kind of see, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
That Luca is literally meant to be the opposite of Sam. Sam ultimately chooses advancing his position in the mob over his friends, where Luca puts his friends above everything. He basically takes a bullet for his friends and dies.
I got gear for the job stashed down near the harbor. If either of yous need something special, go see Vin.
All I need is a stiff drink.
For Christ's sake, Polly, just lay off for one night, please.
Risky business tonight, Tom. Take whatever you need. Remember when you got made? Shaking down stores, whacking small-time punks. Feels a long time ago, huh?
The job don't change, Vinny. One dead guy is the same as the next.
Enjoy it. All my life, I wanted to be one of the big guys. And that's us now. We're living the dream, Tom. It don't get better. Never forget that.
And this is where it ultimately falls apart, because Tommy this whole time felt like the Don genuinely cared about him. And then they're like, wow, the Don just doesn't care if I fucking died. As long as he get his money. And it's where things in this game go tits up. I think you'd like Mafia 2 as well. The 40s and the 50s, starting in World War II. But yeah, hold on. I'm going to take a break. I'll be back.